Welcome to the First Star National Conference, an event geared towards improving the lives of foster youth, just like the organization at large. Social justice is a topic that's personally very important to me, so I really appreciate that it's being incorporated into the conference this year. Um, so, on the topic of social justice, I would just say it's really important to keep having these conversations. I've always been one to say that just take action, less talking, and, more action. But looking at the larger scale of things, I think it's very important that we always have these conversations because it lets someone know who isn't facing an injustice. It lets them know that they're not alone. They see these conversations happening and they see that people are aware, and that's really the goal, is to bring awareness so people can start taking action and can start researching for themselves on how they can help people with these different social justice issues, because we have so many concerning the LGBT community, the black community, the Latino community, prisoners facing harsh treatment in jail and in prisons, the justice for our youth. So it's very important to always discuss this and always keep the conversation going, because injustice is always ongoing. So this summer, in the wake of George Floyd, my friends and I here in Peoria, Illinois, we organized one of the many marches that were happening across the country. We brought over 1,000 people out. And then in the next few days after that, we organized a rally, um, and it concentrated on the own injustices in our city, dealing with our police department and unarmed black men. So we held a rally for those victims and for their families. And again, we brought over 1,000 people out. It was very successful. That's the work I did with my organization called Young Revolution. I was a part of an organization called the Black Justice Project, and I kind of helped people with their personal problems. So when they felt that they couldn't go to the police department, or they couldn't find those resources to tackle on legal issues, that's kind of what that organization did. So I helped people get lawyers. I helped them raise money for it. I held press conferences for them, got the media attention for their stories. Um, and then just recently, Young Revolution, we had a rally um, concentrating on youth, mental illness, abusive homes, pedophilia, ICE, just a litany of different topics that kind of were geared towards the youth in our country, just to bring awareness and bring resources to the table so we can figure out our next steps, and the audience members that showed up could know how to tackle these situations if they ever encountered them. Um, so I did my last year of First Star this summer. Um, this past summer, I did my last year, and it was virtual, obviously, and it wasn't the same experience, obviously, as my previous 3 years, but nevertheless, it was very family oriented for me. That's kind of what First Star has always been for me. It's been like my second family, a place to call home, whether I was there at Illinois State University or not. And that's just what made First Star so great. I really got the college feel, and I feel like they really prepared me to be at college this year and be on campus and immerse myself into the college life. But it was really that family aspect that kind of got me through things. Just knowing that I have that support system, scholars and staff alike. So my experience with First Star has been great. I'm very sad it's ending, and I always tell people, like, hey, if you know anyone who's a foster youth, or if you are one, this is a great organization, a great program to check out because it's very useful. Um, and so, in going through 4 years at First Star Academy at Illinois State University, I just a few things that I kind of thought of reflecting back on my experiences, just like some ideas, to kind of improve the academy if the staff saw fit. So my first thing would be to have a 6 week program rather than a 3 or 4, if possible. I know with COVID and everything, but assuming we go back to being on, on campus and having things back to regular, um, I I would like to see a 6 week program. I know a lot of my fellow scholars and I, all 3 years when we were there on campus, we cried every time it was time to go. Even by the third time, and we knew what it was, but we just cried because we just weren't ready. Like I said, it was that family aspect that kept us, it stuck us together like glue, and so we just weren't ready to leave after those 3 or 4 weeks. Our summer wasn't over, and we weren't ready to get back to our own lives. It was First Star was kind of a way to escape reality for us. So I just would suggest a 6 week program, just a little longer, to to build maybe a stronger relationship within your own academy. Um, and then we had mentors. I think starting the second year, we had mentors for the careers we were interested in. So, my first year, I had a mentor. I was interested in pursuing a career in theater. And so, I had a theater professor from Illinois State University. And now this year, I've changed my course to political science. So, I got a lawyer as my mentor, and mentors were really useful. It just was like it was someone who was it's someone who's doing everything we're aspiring to do. So they were like are they're the person we go to for whatever questions we had, for whatever we needed, for whatever we didn't know for whatever we didn't know what to do, or we didn't know what to expect. That was the person to go to because they had been through everything that we had gone through regarding our career, and they're successful in there. So mentors really helped. So with that being said, I would also just suggest having tutors, rather than, if you can't have both, then mentors. Um, uh, I know a lot of us struggle with subjects in high school. Personally, for me, it was math and science. And just reflecting back on it, I would have really appreciated having a tutor to kind of tutor me for that, prep me for that next year. So if I was ending my sophomore year and I had First Star Academy, knowing I would be taking Algebra 2 my junior year, my tutor could have kind of prepared me for that. And so I would just say it kind of keeps the brain fresh, keeps the brain active, and it would really help in preparing scholars for that upcoming year, and just kind of sharpen up their skills on those subjects that they're not too sure of. And the last thing I would suggest is having more college courses, having more opportunity for college credit. So I know in my academy we had one class, and we just received one college credit for each year we took the class. But getting to college, I kind of see how credits work, and I see how general education works, and how you don't get straight into your major right away. So maybe having more opportunities for us to receive more college credits would be helpful, just so we can go into college a little more prepared, and it'll allow us to get a little bit more into our major, a little bit more ahead. But other than that, although those things weren't incorporated, regardless, First Star was an amazing experience, and I honestly, other than that, I wouldn't change anything about it. So after doing my 3 years, I joined the First Star National Committee, and it was Brian Ritchie and a group of scholars from around the country that were a part of this committee, and we just talked about how to improve First Star, our ideas for First Star, and just everything surrounding First Star. And there were so many great ideas flooding in. One of the big things, the big ideas I had was to have more of a social media presence with this committee, right? Because there were so many, like I said, so many great ideas flowing in, and from so many scholars that having the social media presence, we could get those things out there. We could communicate across academies better, and I think it would just kind of bring First Star on a national scale much more closely together. You know, it would make us bond a little more rather than being bonded within our own academies, being bonded across the nation. And I know that takes time because we're talking nationally, right? But I think having that committee and scholars having more of a social media presence can help with one getting the word out to people about what First Star is and what we do, and how First Star improves the lives of foster youth. Because I can say, for me, it really improved mine. Um, and the benefits, like what, not just hearing about what First Star does and how they change lives, but hearing that from the people, from the scholars in First Star, from the youth, we can tell you firsthand what First Star is like and what it's all about. So I just think having more of a social media presence with that committee would be really beneficial and kind of promoting First Star and bringing the academies across the country a little more closely together. Um, so with all of that being said, I'm graduated. I'm not a part of the summer academies anymore, but I am a part of the alumni program, and it's really great to see that First Star keeps you engaged even after you've graduated. After you're gone, you're not. It's not like high school where you're just gone. You may have new students coming in, and then eventually they'll forget about the old ones. But First Star remembers you. First Star makes you feel valued, and they make you feel worthy. And so although I'm out of the program as a high schooler, I'm still involved as a college student, and I still feel like I'm very much a part of the family I was 1, 2, 3 years ago. So that's my piece. That's all I have to say. I would just really like to thank you guys for allowing me to share some of my ideas and to be able to speak in this conference, especially considering that a lot of it is geared towards social justice. And like I said, it's a topic that's very, very personable and I'm very passionate about. So thank you for allowing me to participate in this. I'm very excited to see where this goes, and I'll keep myself updated. Um, and I will continue to spread the word about First Star and what this academy is because, like I said, and I will always say, it's so beneficial and it really does change and improve the lives of foster youth, if we allow them to. And once we open ourselves up and allow that experience to grab hold of us, it's not something you can never forget. It's something I'll never forget. So thank you again, and welcome again to the conference, and have a good one.